Welcome. I'm Janelle Kolaski, a career mindset coach and actor.
And I'm Amanda Dubois, a self-authenticity and prosperity life coach and actor as well. And we're your co-host of Mindset Artistry YouTube channel,
where we teach you the art of discovering and using your mindset
to build a career and life you desire.
Part of storytelling and helping others. So let's dive into the pain. Right? I know it sounds so, because I've gotten to the point in my life where I have to acknowledge the pain and understand it, and I kind of get a little bit excited, even though it's so painful for the body, mind, you know it all, that we know the suffering, we know it exists, we know it's inevitable. It is a part of life, because just like we're born, we all die. There are certain things in life that are really inevitable. What matters is how we choose to move through that, how we choose to adapt, how we choose to live. Everything can be a choice. And so that's why I wanted to talk about, again, leaning into the growth rather than the pain. The reality is, as human beings, and we develop survival techniques, survival habits, habits that keep us safe, keep us protected, to avoid the pain again. We create these habits and we start feeling comfortable in those habits. And unfortunately, those habits can actually cause us more pain and more suffering, because we're reliving the pain and the suffering and the trauma. And so that adds on to your body, and therefore your body becomes numb to the possibility of growing, of healing, of happiness, of love. And we rather live in that pain because we know it already. So we expect it, right? We're like, oh, I already know bad things are going to happen. So why should I expect anything else, right? It sounds absolutely crazy, but if you actually took note of how you're constantly thinking throughout the day, because our mind is constantly going, whether we realize it or not, our subconscious is picking up a bird that flew across the window, a person that tripped down the street, yet we're still focusing on step, walking forward, getting to our next place or location. And so our subconscious is always absorbing things. And so if you actually took the time to take note and go, what am I thinking and how are my thoughts feeding into my actions? And I had posted recently about the idea of desperation, because we can live in a state of desperation because we're so desperate of living a good life, living a life that has love, having a loving relationship, having a loving partner, having the career that you want, a job that you want, physical health, mental health. And we get so desperate that we actually cause ourselves the pain, because we're aligning with the idea of not receiving. We're aligning with the idea that we don't deserve it, because we're so desperate for it that you're going to seek it out in places that you don't belong. And what happens is, again, you get comfortable in those places that you don't belong because you think that that's where you deserve to be, in that pain, in that suffering, in that desperation. And granted, I know the world is crap. We know this. We absolutely know that bad things happen every single day. We absolutely know that. But we can have a choice of choosing a little bit of joy and light, right? Now, I want to pass it to you before I go on in more in depth in the conversation about your ideas and thoughts around leaning towards growth rather than the pain, and how that can serve your happiness, your career, your relationships, your inner worth, your inner healing.
Yes, I would say that for everybody that's watching, just joining, welcome, that it's something that you become chemically addicted to without knowing it. And so for people that get upset with themselves, oh, this shouldn't bother me anymore, this is in the past, it's something that you can't control unless you face it head on. And so until I started doing the body work with breath work and really paying attention to how things were coming up in my body, the tension, when I kept seeing repeated patterns, I couldn't stop the pain. So for example, Friday, I had a breakdown, and I always have a breakdown right before seeing my family. And it's because growing up, and still, I put so much pressure on myself to take care of them and to make sure I can go see them and Maybe I feel guilty about living so far away. I don't know, but that's the thing. This is why when Amanda's saying you have to stop yourself and kind of pay attention to what you're telling yourself. Because all my teachers will tell me, but in the moment right now, what's going on? You're safe. Everything's okay. They're okay. You are going to go see them, and maybe it's not the exact timing you wanted, but you're getting there, because I was supposed to see them over Easter weekend, but then my back went out. So actually, not only was it about my family, it was about the fact that I had been really injured. So I'm sharing this because a lot of us just keep trying to move and ignoring how we're feeling. And I get it, because I'm one of those people that can be like, well, I don't have time and there's so much to do. But when I had that breakdown on Friday, I was like, well, what is this really about? And it's not just about my family. It's about also a feeling of not being enough, not happy where I'm at yet in life. And then also with all the back pain that I had. And this sounds negative, but actually it's not, because I just faced it head on. I mourned whatever I needed to mourn. And then I was just up again and moving. And life is good. And I know that. But I'm just saying this because I loved in your post where you said you can put yourself in holding patterns. And that's what's really important, to be like, wait, what is really happening right now? Am I living in a narrative of the past, of something that happened to me in the past, or am I living in a narrative of currently what's happening? Because what happens is we're living our life, and then something so minor will remind us of something so painful and negative from our past. We leave the moment. You're not here anymore. Sometimes Amanda will be like, Janelle, where'd you go? She can see when I go. She can see. And that's the mark of an amazing, amazing friend. And so don't feel bad about it. Definitely try to have more awareness. And now it's very hard, but now that I've focused and trying to shift the patterns, my life is a lot easier and more beautiful than before.
Wow. I love that. Thank you for sharing. The reality is, and if you've come to our lives before, you're in any of our episodes, you understand that we talk honestly about our moments of breakdowns, our moments of realness, right? We're not shy about it, because if you are shy or you put down your true emotions, you're suppressing something which is going to end up building and building on top of it, like building blocks and building and building. And when you're trying to get through, it may be a bit harder. And you also may burst like a volcano. And I've said this before, because you've been pressing it all in. That one little thing will tweak it, and poof, and you blow up. You're angry. You're yelling at somebody. You push someone. You get into a fight because you just got to get it out. And so this is why I wanted you to lean towards the healing rather than the pain, and lean towards the growth, because I don't want your mind feeds your body. Your body doesn't know any different than what you're telling it. So if you're constantly telling your body, I'm in pain, I'm suffering, I'm not worthy of the raise at my job, I'm not worthy of love, I'm not worthy of a partner who's going to support me, I'm not worthy of building a family or having a good friend. If you keep saying that, you're going to attract the things that are on that energetic level, because that shows that you can't go past it. You can't live past that energetic level. Your mind is incapable of seeing anything else, because all you're doing is consuming up and taking up the space, and the land in your mind, the state, the grounds in your mind are just going to be full of negative thoughts. You're going to live in those you end up becoming determined to look for the bad in your life. That determination starts going, oh, there's good over there. It looks nice, but never mind. I can't. Nope. Sorry. I can't take that offer. No. It's too good. I'm going to stay over here where I feel less than, where I'm undervalued, where no one treats me the way that I deserve. And it says, what were both your initial steps to start the journey of self-worth? That's a good question. Actually, I would like to address it. It's a really good question. Let me finish the thought here, and then I'll go into that. It becomes your pain. You have to feel so much pain that you want the change, because it has to become so uncomfortable that you go, I can't take this anymore. You got to get to the point where you go, I can't take this anymore. I don't want to tolerate this anymore. I don't want to live this type of life. I need to change. And that's where when you start teetering of like, all right, what can I do to change? What could I do to shift my mind and lean towards the growth? And that is the first step of admitting that change needs to occur, that healing needs to happen, that you are in pain. Pain is real. And like Nell said, I don't want anyone to feel guilty for ever being in this state of mind. It's absolutely okay to feel that way. It's absolutely okay to feel that you belong in unworthiness, that you belong in a place where you don't feel love. That is normal, absolutely normal. I don't ever want you to feel guilty or shame yourself for feeling that way, because by doing that, you're not giving yourself, again, the opportunity to get out of it, to see otherwise. And so acknowledge it, and then that's when you take the step to go, I'm going to lean towards growth, which means I have to continue to process whatever is happening in my body and my mind. What am I believing? What is my belief system telling me? You've created this belief system that is repellent towards growth, repellent towards love, and that's all you'll end up doing, is because it's your belief system. Every choice that you make, every interaction that you have, every situation that you're in is only going to feed that belief system. And so that's when it's really important to do the inner work and go, all right, the choice is mine. Everything outside of me, I cannot control. I can't control how people are. I can't control what they do. I can't control the sun. Goodness, you can't control it, although they try, and the whole weather, that's a whole nother story. They have the things. But there are things outside of you that you cannot control. What you can control is yourself. And so now I want to go back to the question of, what were both your initial steps to start that journey of self-worth? Well, the truth is, I felt worthless. There was a moment in my life where I really started realizing that, wow, I don't value myself. I don't value the people that I'm around. And they're showing me that too. They're showing me how I'm seeing myself. And so I actually got tired, and it got really painful to look at myself and think of myself in a negative way. And I go, I can't think like this about myself. I'm still alive. I have my health, I have my family, and I was in a space where I just felt like there was the teetering between the desperation of I needed to get out of it, and desperation of like staying there, right? And I just realized that I couldn't do it anymore. And I didn't want to live that life anymore. I didn't want to wake up or be uncomfortable in rooms. I didn't want to wake up and feel like I wasn't my true self. And then I realized I didn't even know who I was, because I had played a role in people's lives to what they wanted me to be, what I thought they wanted. And so I played that role, and I realized it was not me. And I think the pandemic, well, it wasn't the first part, but I think losing my brother was the big moment of aha that started the journey, because I realized shit, life is short. And you here one day and gone the next, and life will always go on. Life went on when my brother passed. I had to go on. We had to pay the bills. We had family. We had to take care of ourselves. We had to eat, drink, all the things. Life moved on. And I was like, wow, do I want to continue to live the way that I'm living, or change it? And so that was the beginning of my journey. And I don't want any drastic measure to ever happen to somebody. I don't ever wish that on anybody. But it was a choice, and it was a realization that, wow, in the snap of a finger, everything could be gone. And so that was the beginning of my journey of worth. And it just took a while, because I was in rotation of habits, and I had to start acknowledging it and realizing I'm doing these things to myself. I'm, girl, take responsibility. You can't continue to blame people. And so I had to heal. And so that was the beginning of the journey. Nellie?
Such a great question. I would say I'm probably only halfway there with self-worth. I'm really coming around a corner after this whole back pain thing, because Amanda and I are ageless and aging, and I was thinking, as I was sitting there without the ability to move for days, that I really needed to start putting myself first. And what I will say, everybody here comes from different backgrounds, but I definitely grew up. There's a difference between independence and being independent and owning that, and identifying your self-worth. They don't always go together. It took me a long time to understand that I did not value myself because I work really hard and I've gotten a lot of things for me and I do things for myself and I go after what I want. So you would think that my self-worth is just like maxed out because she's really going for it. But as I would climb the ranks in my career or with anything else, there was this part of me that believed I didn't deserve it or it wasn't fulfilling because I got there expecting to feel worthy and I didn't. So I would say that I think acting really showed me that I had to go to therapy, and that started my talk therapy journey because I was very defensive all the time, and that was just to protect myself. And then through that I saw that talk therapy wasn't helping me anymore, so I had to move to body-based. And then I started really noticing, like Amanda just said, the external, we talked about this last week, it's just a mirror, but trying to manage everybody outside of you is never going to fix what's going on in here. My favorite thing is you can't get horizontal love until you do the vertical. And don't worry, it's a process. That's the other thing that annoys me. It's impossible. What's beautiful about humans bumping into each other is you're like, okay, I got it. I've solved this. I'm good with how I am. Now I'm going to be in that relationship. And then you get in the relationship and you're like, oh God, I did not see that shadow. So just know it's a process, but definitely I want everybody, like Amanda said, not to have something drastic. Like definitely my back going out is really pushing me over the edge. So we don't want anything physical happening to you. We don't want any other things. We want you to just understand it's the only way to really live an authentic, fulfilling life. You're not going to find it out there. You find it in here.
Yeah. Well, thank you for sharing. I agree. You know, we are the narrators of our story. And whenever we all go to the beyond and we're no longer here, if someone sat down with you and asked you, tell me about your life, what would you say? And it's almost making me tear up a bit, because if I was to sit down, and like even before this and even currently now, because I know there's so much opportunities and things that I want to do, as you all do have, is that the version of me maybe right before I started this journey, if someone had asked me if I was like, tell me about your life, were you happy with it? I would have thought so. I would have thought yes. I would have said yeah. And then when I actually thought about the things that I wanted, the people I were around, the things that I did, I'd have been like, wow, I didn't give myself the opportunity to be my true self, to speak my voice. And I was so nervous with using my voice because I was afraid of being judged. A lot of the time, I was afraid of being judged. I really was afraid of being judged for who I was, because I was judged many times before that. I had concrete evidence in my life that people judged me, and I took it for face value, right? I took it for face value, and I made that my belief system. And because of that, my voice used to quiver. I didn't feel confident about speaking up my mind. I didn't feel confident about setting boundaries. I didn't feel confident in relationships. I conformed to what I thought they wanted instead of being my true self. And then whenever I tried to be my true self, how could they appreciate me if they don't know who the heck I was? And so it was just a major disconnect, a lot of disconnections. And then I was told, you know, I talk funny, you know, all these things. And luckily, when I decided to take on the journey of going, I'm leaning towards the growth. I want the change. I don't want to be this version of myself that is insecure, that's stuck in the pain, that is stuck in the trauma, that is stuck in these habits that are rotating and repeating itself. Because that's what also happened too, is that these situations started repeating themselves with different people and different places and different things. And I'm like, what is happening here, universe? Like, whoever you believe in is like, what are you telling me? Like, I'm hoping for something different, but I'm not getting anything different because I'm not addressing what needs to be healed or learned from, or the lesson. And so when I finally decided to lean towards growth, there was a lot of responsibility that I needed to take on and understand that there was a lot of trauma and unhealed wounds, and for my family, these expectations that I put on myself to be like the perfect daughter and the perfect like influence for my family, for the next generation. I was like, I gotta do it, you know? And I'm not saying it was a bad thing, but because of that, I lost a bit of the creativity that I wanted in my life. I lost that. And so when I decided to, and that had to do with a lot of people, like once I decided, I need a change, and I said it, just the mere thought of saying it out loud, I was starting getting surrounded by people who were going to support that. And it was the craziest thing. Unexpected people that I would just randomly talk to. They were like, oh yeah, girl, I can see you don't belong in this job. You don't belong here in this corporate world. I'm like, what? And I would take it offensive. Like, what are you talking about? Like, they're like, no, there's something bigger here. And I see it. Like, you don't belong here. You deserve, like, your creativity, your energy it's valued somewhere else, and it's not being valued here. And as I did that and started exploring that more, I started discovering my voice. I started realizing that I didn't belong there at the time, but I was grateful for the situation. And then I started taking classes and teachers that were like, Amanda, you know, your voice is uniquely yours. And I had this one speech teacher, Lenore, who I honestly told her, I was like, I feel so insecure about my voice and how I speak because I'm coming from the Bronx, and how can I be a good actor? You know, oh my gosh, like all the things. Like, I don't, you know, I was criticized for the way I spoke. And she was like, Amanda, first of all, you're in New York. This is a melting pot. So many different languages have come together. The way we speak is just who you are, right? It's a mixture of all cultures. And so when I honestly made that connection, I was like, oh, wow, what a beautiful thing. And then two, she was like, you can always learn something different. And you can always learn a new skill and learn how to do it. That is the beauty of it. But what you have is uniquely yours. And your voice is what makes you who you are as an artist, as a person, as a friend, a sister, a girlfriend, all the things. That serves you. And no one can take that away from you. And if someone tries to, don't even give it the energy or the attention that they are seeking, because it has nothing to do with you. If you love yourself and are confident in who you are, like, and we had an interview recently, Nell said, and we talked about it, about if it's not in you, it can't get activated, right? It can't get bothered. So if you feel so confident about yourself, when someone tells you, you can't do that, you're like, yeah, I can. I'm confident because it's, you know, otherwise, you know, different. And so I just want you to embrace the idea of leaning towards growth and healing. It's painful. It's not easy because we get caught up in this comfortability of being in that pain. And we don't realize it, but we do. And all we do is start accepting the pain, and we're not acknowledging it. We're not being, you know, we're not giving ourselves the ability to heal from it. And so you only think that the pain is what life is all about. Life is not all about pain. Life is not all about trauma and bad things happening. Life is not supposed to be that way. It's not supposed to. Cruel things do happen, of course, and those are those others' choices. But you can choose to look at the light. You can choose to find the growth and the beauty and then tell your story. You matter. Your story matters. And so, again, I want to leave you with, just as hard and difficult it is, to lean towards the growth, to lean towards the healing, and let go of that pain. It is so worth it. It is so worth it, because right beyond that moment, right beyond that step or that door or that wall, or, you know, the Great Wall of China, you know, right behind that wall is your greatness. Right behind that wall is your happiness, is your joy. And you have to get through it. You have to get over it. You have to, you know, conquer that. It may take time, and it's not easy. And it's going to, we all have a journey. I'm still going through my journey as well. It's never going to be complete. And even if it is, you know what? That means I'm dead. Exactly. I flatlined, I'm done, I'm gone. I left the world. Like, that's what that means. We should always be growing. Our body does. Our body changes naturally. And so that's where your mindset should be, and or at least lean towards. And so before we end, now, any last words with about like leaning towards healing and growth, and rather than the pain?
All I would say is just take baby steps, because as coaches, we say, we're always asking our clients, do you have time for this week, or is this something you're comfortable with? Because a lot of times people will set goals for their lives, and then they're like, I'm going to do everything. I'm going to get the gym membership, get the food, get the clothing and everything, and I'm just going to go for an hour every day. No, you're not. No, you're not. So, but then that's what gets people discouraged, because look, it's like old habits die hard. And these, as I said earlier, we're chemically addicted to the negativity, because all that's happening is your brain's job is to keep your body safe. Your ego's job is to keep you safe. And as Amanda said, you tell it. So you can tell yourself whatever story you want to. It's just hard, I understand, when you've experienced something and you haven't done the healing to break free from that. The same story seems more believable than the one that you truly want to have. And so we get that. So all I would say is just baby steps. You know, even if you're going to meditate and journal, like, I'm going to journal 1 page today. You know, so I'm going to meditate an hour. I'm going to write everything down. Yeah. You know, just do something small. And also because then you can take a break from it. Because, I don't know, I had therapy before this, and I had to say something out loud, and I didn't want to say it, and I did. But then after I did, and like felt the pain of that, I was literally crying, then it disappeared. But it took me years to get to that. And, you know, that doesn't mean it'll take you years, but I'm just saying, do little baby steps and do something every day for yourself, so you can build the life that you want to have. And don't shame yourself. Don't be hard on yourself. You know, Amanda and I, it's funny that we have that in common about like the pressure of having to hold the family together. I was literally just talking about that today. We put so much pressure on ourselves as humans. Don't look left or right. Know your experience is yours. Your journey is yours. You know, just take your time, but do something. Do something about it. Because we're here. We're going to be like, are you taking care of yourself and healing and loving yourself? We're never going to stop. And that's what I have to say about all that.
Awesome. Yes. And what I will say, and I want to address this, because about family, and just the idea of like being that rock and supporting everybody and making sure everybody's okay and all the things, like, right? It's a lot. Give yourself permission to be better than your parents. And I know that sounds cruel. That sounds absolutely cruel, right? It's not. It's not, because your job is to do better than they did. And I'm not saying, we're not downplaying what they did. We're not devaluing what they did. You know, different circumstances, different time, different people, really. But give yourself permission to receive and live the life that you desire that is better than your parents. And I know that's hard, because I had to come to terms with that. I had to give myself permission, because you start living in a rotation of thought that if your parents only made $100,000 a year, that's all you're worth of making. That's all you're going to get. That's all you're worth, because that's what they did. So what I'm saying is, in that moment, and it's going to take time. It's going to be something you have to say every day. It's going to be something you have to say to yourself every single day, and give yourself permission until it becomes natural. But give yourself permission to receive more than your parents ever did. Feel gratitude for that. You learned from their life, and now you're living yours. So give yourself permission. If your parents didn't go to college or didn't make a certain amount of money or are living paycheck to paycheck, that does not have to be your circumstances. That does not have to be the life that you live. You can choose better, you can have better, you can be better. And again, it is not devaluing them, it's not degrading their life. No way whatsoever. If anything, you're appreciating their life so that you can do more with yours. And I guarantee anybody who's supportive of you, who loves you, wants to see you shine. They want to see you live your abundant and beautiful life. And by doing that, you never know how you can influence them at any age. You could be 83 and be like, I want to start living my life, and they end up making it, 200K and becoming a millionaire. Like, you never know. That's why it's really important to take care and give yourself permission to live the life that you want, which is bringing in the income that you desire, to live the life, have the home, the cars, whatever. That's very materialistic, but I'm talking about like wealth, like inner wealth, abundance, joy, happiness. That's what I'm talking about. And so give yourself that permission. Give yourself the opportunity to live that and do that. And so I wanted to say that because that is something that I had to come to terms with, and I wanted to share that, and it just came up to me. So anybody who may feel, especially when it comes to family, we have these limiting thoughts about just our worth and getting and surpassing them because we feel guilty, we feel shame, right? We feel shame and guilt for being a better, and it's not even being better, but it's just having things that you desire for the life that you want. And you have the opportunity within you. You have everything that you need is always within you. Give yourself permission to unlock the box, the key, the door. Give yourself permission to unlock that because you already have it within you. And trust me, it is clawing at the door. It is clawing at the floor to get out. It wants you to acknowledge me. It's like raising its hand, waving, screaming at you, yelling. It's like, hear me, see me, you deserve this. Listen to that. Give it life. So thank you again for joining us for Instagram Live, Mindset Artistry Live. I was about to say Coffee with Coaches. I'm like, that's last year. Thank you for joining us today. If you don't know, I am a life coach and I do take one-on-one clients. And so if you're ever interested in working with me, the first session is free and it's 45 minutes to an hour. We just get to talk and see what you need and how I can best serve you. I also have a free course online. It's called 5 Essentials to Combating Daily Stress. It's absolutely free. Videos are less than an hour. And these are just tools that you can pick up and go with you wherever you need to help you overcome the challenges that happen every single day. Because we all have them. We all have hiccups. We all have situations that can trigger us, activate us, and make us feel that we can't and we won't and we don't. So that's what I have. And I also am a part of a healing arts collective that offers coaching on a lower scale. So if you're financially unable to pay my normal rates, you can work with them for Healing Arts Collective, and I'll be posting that, or you can just DM me and I can send you the link. And it is a way lower rate than I normally charge, but you have to get approved, and that's based on your financial status. But I am available to those that need the help. That's why I became a life coach. And so I want to see you thrive. I want you to be your best self, and you deserve that. And I am an advocate for you every single day. And on the other side, we have the beautiful and amazing Coach Janella.
Hello. Hello, everybody. Yes, thank you very much. Amanda's amazing. She's helped me so much. She can help you. I am also a coach. I'm a career mindset coach for people in the fashion and entertainment industry. Maybe you're just starting out, or maybe you've been in it for a while and something just isn't aligning with you, and you, wherever you're at in your journey, you know deep down this is something that you're meant to do. I always say, if you have the desire, the dream is within reach, but you just got to take control of what you can. And that could even be your healing. You know, it could just be like, okay, Janelle, I'm doing all the business side of things, but nothing's happening. I got the headshots and the reel, and I'm applying to the jobs. But then we got to go over here. Well, are you believing in yourself? Are you healing those wounds? Do you really think that it can be yours? Does your body, mind, and soul believe that? Even if it's true, you got to get everybody on board. So that's the coaching that I offer. I do one-on-one coaching. I also have a course that kind of outlines everything. I was about to quit. And I made a list of everything I could control. And I said to myself, for a year, I'm going to try all of these things and consistently. And if I don't book any work, I'm not meant to do this. And within 3 years, I was able to make 6 figures consistently since 2016. So your girl's been in it for 15 years. I don't want you to have to wait that long to really pick up the speed on things. So you can send me a message, Janelle Loves, and you can find us. We have a podcast and a YouTube. It's all Mindset, Artistry, everything. If you are coming late, missed part of this, or you want to hear the other episodes that we've been doing for a year now, and we cover topics that we don't cover on Instagram Live. We've got everything for you. Like Amanda said, we're here for you. We're just this community. Life can be stressful and hard, but we can lean on each other and get through it. What day is it? Monday? We'll see you again Wednesday night at 8 p.m. for another live. And that's about it for me.
Yes. Thank you. Yeah. All she said were Mindset Artistry. This is a community that we created for you, that we decided and understand the value of it in the world, that it can be so unpredictable, right? So unpredictable. And what I want to leave you with something, because it is May 1st. I want just a little tool that you can do for this month and try it out. Just try it out and just commit to this one thing. You don't got to go crazy. Again, we're all about the small steps. Set an intention this month. Whatever it is that you're desiring to achieve, whether it's like clarity or I want to bring in more money, be specific with that intention going, this month, I am going to dedicate myself to creating clarity within my work, creating clarity within my friends, creating clarity with my relationships, with myself. Or this month, I am going to allow myself to create a healthy habit of physical activity. Just and see what happens. Set that intention. I want you to set some health, one healthy intention, and go through that for the month. Say it every day. Do it every day. Small steps, just very small, and see how that goes. Just give yourself a month, 30 days, just 30 days. What do you got to lose? 30 days. 30 days. That's all. Is it 31? 31. I think March is 31 days. So 31 days. So technically it's 30 because today's the first, but you know what I mean. Set a small intention and see how that goes. And then you can let us know in a live, even after a week. You never know how that can impact you by just setting an intention. You're rewiring your brain to see something different, to allow something different, to receive what you desire. Because the opportunities will present itself. Just take the blinders off, take the glasses off, and you will see the opportunities that you've been seeking have been right in front of you. You've just been focused on other things. You've been focused on the past. You've been focused on the pain. You've been focused on what's not working, what's all of that, and realizing that you have an opportunity right here in front of you. Take the chance.
What are your thoughts about this episode?
Drop it in the comments and let us know what you want to dive into next.
Subscribe, like, share, and click the link below to book a free consultation. And
We'll see you next time.